everyone. Welcome, 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 Jen. Welcome everyone to the Life, Love, and Money Show with Summer and Jen this Thursday. Woo woo, we're on Thursday.
Yes. I know this week went by so fast, but yes, welcome, Summer. Yes, we're here.
It went by fast because we were being so productive.
Crazy how that works.
Not that we're not productive every week, because Jen and I do a lot of stuff. Jen is a financial coach, and she is also a graphic designer, and she is involved in lots of different things. She does talks and speaks and, designs, and I can't live without her. She's awesome.
Oh, I love you. Yeah. Summer is my therapist, by the way. She's like the big sis I never had. And we're such a great partnership. I'm so thankful for you and your friendship and even what we're doing and creating to help so many people navigate through so many things.
Thank you so much, Jen. And we have so much coming up that we're so excited to tell you about. We can't tell you about it just yet, but it's coming and we're excited. So today we are here with you every Thursday. Why? Because we love being here talking about issues related to life, love, and money.
Yeah.
And today we're going to do that. We're going to do just that. We're going to talk about a question that's really important that needs to be addressed. It happens a lot. And something we didn't address on our other show that I'm going to talk about today regarding this question. But here's the question. And this, even though it's written from a male regarding his girlfriend, it can be a girl and a guy. It can be anybody who does this. I have a longtime girlfriend, and every time she wants her way, wants to buy things, or doesn't like one of my family members or friends, she tries to emotionally manipulate me into bending my opinion or to get her way. How do I not allow this to happen?
It's sad when I hear this question, because I know that there are so many people out there who have either been through something like this or you are in this right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to make it really clear from the get-go what manipulation is. It is a goal to change behavior or perception of others using different tactics, meaning somebody is abusive, somebody is deceptive, somebody is underhanded, somebody wants to, basically change your mind for you. They want to control you. They want you to do what they say, but they're not going to come right out. Many times they're not going to come right out and say, I want you to do what I say. They're going to manipulate you into believing you should do what they say. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, it is. And I think what's even crazier, and I know you have so much more to add to it, I just wanted to say, the thing that's so crazy we have to think about it is that we allow it to happen to us.
Yeah. But here's the thing, folks. Why? I'm going to go back to maybe why, in my theory, why some people do this manipulation. First of all, we are manipulators as human beings right from the get-go. We want to be fed, we want to be nurtured, and we're going to find ways to make that happen. So that's a given. That is natural. That's organic in each of us. To what degree we do that is significant. And so, it can go from crying to, not to say that crying is a bad thing, because it's not. But if you do it to manipulate, that isn't a great thing. Yeah. If, in babies, they naturally do it because they want, that's their behavior is telling us something, right? So their behavior is telling us, I need to be fed, I need to be changed, I need to be picked up. But here's the thing with babies, even when they don't get picked up and they need to be in a safe space, what will they do?
Cry.
They'll cry. And parents always say this, I know that cry is to be picked up, or that cry is to be fed, or that's a cry because they're wet or need to be changed. Right, Jen?
To me, it was all the same.
Was it all the same?
To me, it was. It was like, all right, what do you need? And then I figured it out when I got to CJ. I was like, what do you need? Yeah. I wasn't, I don't remember and maybe there's a reason why I don't remember, but I don't remember there being a distinct, maybe it was more for me, like the clock, like, okay, I'm looking at the time, like, okay, you probably need this.
You're so practical.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, that was like, oh, that means he's hungry. I'm like, no, it's been like 2 hours since he ate. Like, he's hungry.
Practical.
Not that parents.
and so I hear from some parents, not all parents, that there's certain cries that mean certain things. And here's the other thing, that when you're in a situation of survival, when you have to earn your own money, there's nobody's going to help you. You've got to, find your own food. Nobody's going to help you with that. That is survival. And many times when we are surviving or in a situation of survival, we become even more manipulative. Or if there's something that we want so badly, maybe like an addiction, we're going to become manipulative to find that, to gain that next high, to gain that food, to gain that. And that is manipulation. So we as human beings are just naturally manipulative, but to what degree? What degree are we manipulating? And so it's really important when you think about manipulation to think about when somebody is manipulating you to really change your behavior or to change your thoughts. So do you want to add anything to that before I go on to the red flags and what to look out for?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, like I did last time, is that when you are in this situation, I think the overlying theme that you need to be very, very aware of is that there is this theme of guilt and shame and blame being done.
Yes.
And that, I think, when you're dealing with something that is a manipulative situation, that you need to be very, very aware of that. A lot of times we're in these situations and we don't even know what's going on. We're not as aware as we can be. We're not mindful of what's happening. And then you start to take on this whole thing of like, it's my fault. Well, I should do better. And I've done this myself. So I'm speaking from experience. Well, everything I'm speaking from is experience. I'm like the Petri dish case study for all these questions.
What is in that Petri dish?
Yeah, but also from the perspective, like, analyzing it from, a coaching or professional perspective. So, it's I think we need to recognize that there is this guilt and shame and blame that's being done to us. But a lot of times we don't take on that role. We take on this, we allow ourselves to take on this victim role, because that other person is going to be the victim too, where they'll be like, well, if you don't do this for me, what's going to happen? Like, who else is going to help me? Then you feel bad. And so it's just a cycle of manipulation going back and forth. So I just want to say, be mindful and aware of that there is this ongoing theme. So I just want to say,
sorry.
That's okay. I'm like, yeah, I see her.
Yeah, I hear it. I accidentally pressed the wrong button.
It's not in my head.
Sorry.
Yeah, so it's like you have to recognize that there is this
It won't stop. Sorry. Okay, go ahead. So sorry.
Shut up, Jen. And the other Jen. Is so you have to recognize that there is this theme of guilt and blame and shame. But a lot of times when if you're not aware and cognizant of it, that's why, you have to start paying attention. Like, this is why I'm in this unhappy situation. I'm not happy. I'm miserable. Pay attention to that energy. Yeah. I think far too often we start to get to this place where we ignore those things. We ignore our gut. We ignore that intuition. And then we start making excuses. We start making excuses that, no, this isn't so bad. No, well, that person's okay. They're pretty good at other times. And it's just like, no, we start to move away from recognizing what is supposed to be healthy and what that looks like.
And I think we're also moving away from our own values.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh my gosh, right? So here's the thing, folks. We talk about this so much. Oh my gosh, so much about values, personal values, valuing yourself. Two different things, how you value yourself and your set of values. When you have and understand your set of values, you can go back to that, touch into that, tap into that, understand what those are, and you never have to then vacillate. Let me tell you though, I will say this. This is a caveat to that. So principles are one thing, values are another thing. So we got to get real clear. Principles, love, hate, those are always going to stay static, right? Those are concepts that stay. They're not going anywhere. Our values and beliefs can change over time as we grow. But as long as you're aware of your value set, you're going to always return. You can always return back to that, and you can question, is this person who I am dating, who I am with, that I have a relationship with, that I have a friendship with, that I have an intimate relationship with, is this relationship aligning with my values? And here's the big kicker. Working in the field of human services and psychology for years and years and years, what I've seen is when people first meet each other, it's like this love fest, right? It's like, oh my God, you're so great. I love you.
You're the one.
And you're the one. You're the one.
You either said that or heard that. Yeah.
Oh my God, that is good. You're the one.
You're the one.
And that's just so funny to me. You're the one. So, and I don't know why that catches me funny, but it does. So here's the thing. Give yourself a few months. I say 3 to 6 months. That's the measurement for like therapists that it's like, you think you know this person, but do you really know this person? I mean, this happens at a job. I know you've all been there. Like when you start a new job and you befriend some people and you're like 3 months down the road, you're like, I don't know if that person is.
Yeah, they don't match any of that BS that was on their resume.
Yeah, right. Or even their personality. Like you think you've clicked with them, and then something like they start coming out of their shell. They're a complainer. They're this. They're that. And you're just like,
you're not a team player, like that third bullet point. That's another topic, but y'all seen it. I used to interview people, and man, I was like, all right, this is a template. So it's funny. I talk about template, but we also had talked about representative. So I love that you're telling people that you need to give it 3 to 6 months.
Okay, here's a checklist. Values. Know your values. 3 to 6 months. Give it 3 to 6 months. Understand that whether or not, you think you know this person, it takes about a good 6 months to understand whether or not you know this person and whether or not you want to be with this person or in a relationship with a person. I'm not here to say you can or whatever. You decide, but give yourself this opportunity. And if you start seeing some of these red flags, and this is a great opportunity for me to go over some of these red flags right now.
Yes.
Of somebody who's trying to manipulate you. So the first one is your partner, is that person? And remember, you can be the manipulator too. Remember this. Okay. So is your partner, are you trying to control somebody? That's a biggie. That's a glaring red flag. Are you trying to control emotionally, physically? Are you trying to control somebody, manipulate that relationship? Does your partner dictate what they need, what you need to do? Do you dictate what somebody else needs to do? Do you not conform to, are you trying to get them to conform to something? If not, then, okay. What happens then? Guilt. Jen mentioned these 3 key terms earlier: shame, blame, guilt. Guilt is huge. Is somebody making you feel or trying to influence how you feel to make you feel bad either about yourself or about a situation or about your parents or about your family or about your other friends? Is that something that they're trying to do? And if so, pay attention to that. Pay attention as to why. Because some of the keys here too is somebody who's trying to control you will start isolating you. Will start trying to get those people to isolate from you. And that's a way of really keeping you to themselves. And when you start allowing that to happen, holy crap, guess what? Your network is like gone. Your network goes away.
This is huge. I wanted to just interject real quick. I think that's something we need to pay attention to, because if you're with somebody, and I'm thinking of somebody right now in my brain, when you start not hanging out with family, when you haven't seen your friends, when you start to question like, oh, I'm just not going to go, or, oh, I think I just better go by myself. Or if let's say you have kids even, and your friends and family haven't even seen your kids because your partner or spouse or whatever is not allowing that situation to be healthy enough for that kind of interaction and relationship building to take place. Like you have got to pay attention to that. It is so unhealthy. And I think sometimes we get into this bubble where it becomes your normal. And that's what's scary, is because you've now accepted it and it's become the normal. And then you start to make these excuses for this person, or even worse, you start to take on this, like, it's my fault. No, I need to do better. And it's just so unhealthy all the way around. So I'm really glad that you're bringing up about to feel this victim martyr role where, oh, I don't want to be mean. But the thing is, when we don't recognize those boundaries and where they have to be, and we don't honor ourselves, and we're going to talk about this next week about what serves us and what does that really mean. When we don't pay attention to those things, we can't show up as our best. If you can't show up as your best, how are you supposed to show up for everybody else? And I think when we're in these scenarios and these situations, we move so far away from it. And the sad thing is, and I've been here where, you know, it becomes your normal. You just accept it as it is, and you make excuses for the other person. And then you start to, it's almost as like you're trying to be, I don't know, it's this weird nebulous thing that you're in this weird space where you're like, okay, well, I could do better. I'm trying to be the better person. And yet we become so far removed from the fact of like, no, stop the madness. This is about you recognizing this is not healthy.
Yeah.
But we stay in it. We stay in it because we become in this, we take on this role that we have to be the only one that needs to be better. And that's like not true. It's like you just need to recognize, no, you gotta leave. Like you have got to get out of this thing because it's not healthy. And I truly believe, like, you know, we can't change other people. They have to want that for themselves. And if you are finding yourself in a scenario where you're feeling like, when are you going to do that? Or when are you going to do this? When it's like, you are just hitting a brick wall and you just need to recognize that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So good. As you were saying this stuff, I was writing down some things because it was like getting pinged. I was like, yeah. Oh my gosh. You brought up so many great things here, Jen. I believe that we, especially as women, have been conditioned to be nurturers, to be fixers. And what that has lent to is us staying in uncomfortable, unhealthy situations because we want to nurture, we want to fix, we want to change. It ain't going to happen. It's good to nurture to a degree. But if you are only giving all of your emotions and yourself to one person, to this person, because that's their expectation. And we've been told, like, we can fix anything. We're superhuman. We're super, humans. Listen, our goal isn't necessarily, even as, being a therapist, working in clinical situations, my goal isn't necessarily sit there and fix somebody. It's to listen. It's to be objective. It is to then share with them some ideas that might work, options, those kinds of things, but really allowing that person to kind of get out, talk their stuff out. You're not there as somebody's therapist. You're there as somebody's equal, as somebody who values you and they value and you value them for the right reasons, for healthy reasons. Yes.
Yeah. You just said a key word, you're equal. Yeah. You're there, that person's supposed to be your equal. And I want to challenge you all that are listening or catching the replay. If you can't honestly say that about the person you're with or a friend or whatever, question that and really lean into that and ask yourself, like, why am I here? How is this serving me? How is this a beneficial relationship? And I think far too often we're just going, and we're not stopping and pausing. And especially if you're feeling miserable, if you're questioning, like, I'm just not happy. If you don't wake up with excitement every day, like, you got to start paying attention to the relationships that are around you. I think you also need to pay attention to, are you moving away from your core values?
So good.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right? Have you even determined what those core values are? A lot of times we haven't even done that. So how the heck do you know where you're going? If you aim for nothing, you're going to get exactly that.
Yeah.
So, that's why we drill this all the time and talk about it to ad nauseum about core values, because you're trying to, you're asking yourself why you're getting a certain outcome, but by the same token, you haven't laid out the groundwork.
Yeah.
And that's why there's this lack of alignment, and there's so much incongruency, because you have nothing guiding you. And so it makes you more easily vulnerable, and vulnerability is not a bad thing, but in this case, it makes you more likely to be very, very susceptible to being stuck in a situation where you are being victimized, you are being emotionally abused, you are feeling like you're the victim, but yet you're so willing to just bend at every beck and call, because you feel, and you're mislabeling it as like, well, I'm showing love. I show that I care. I'm doing what I can. I'm doing my part. But you're totally missing the point that you're being manipulated.
Yeah. I love what you just said there. Don't confuse love with manipulation. Don't confuse that. Don't confuse that. Love is not to manipulate somebody. Love is being understanding, equal, wanting each other to be both physically and emotionally well. And that is not it. This is not it. If you're being manipulated, if you're feeling over, if you're being made to feel guilty about something that there should be no guilt about. If there's emotional blackmail there, if you're not feeling comfortable in a certain situation, you're feeling isolated because now you've allowed this person. Okay, here's the thing. You've allowed this person to isolate you, because we all have choices. And I'm going to say we have choices, and we allow ourselves to be in situations. We allow ourselves for others to impose their judgment, impose their feelings, impose that manipulation onto us. Sometimes, and I will give you this, it is difficult to see what's happening right before you as you're going through it.
Yes. And one of my favorite quotes, Les Brown, you can't see the picture when you're inside the frame.
Yeah. So listen to your network. Pay attention to what they're saying. And here's the other thing. Listen to your internal intuition. Listen to that inner voice. Voice. Do some self-reflection. And here's the thing. If you're the one manipulating, do a bit of self-reflection. Recognize what you may be doing. Recognize the way you are trying to control, instill fear or guilt or gaslight somebody else.
Yeah.
And it really, really is important. I'm not saying this is just that other person. This could be me. This could be you. We could be doing this to somebody else. So pay attention to your own behavior. Do some self-reflection. Learn healthy ways to communicate. Respect your partner's boundaries. Boundaries. Did we talk about boundaries?
I think it was mentioned, but not as much as the last time.
Boundaries. Set relationships or a partner you're going to be in. What kind of boundaries you're going to set for yourself? Clear and stand to those boundaries. Here's some things. How to manipulate a manipulator, right? Or guilt or shame or yourself. If you find, throw it up there. I'm watching Facebook. If you have a comment, throw it up there, because we are here and share those comments and answer those comments. We will be back here same time next week. And here's the thing. If you have a question for us, DM us your questions. If you've missed any of this conversation, I want you to go over to the Life, Love, and Money page, YouTube page, and subscribe. So, Jen, guess what time it is? It's time for that nugget.
Yes.
All right. You want to go?
Yeah. So my nugget of the day is simply ask yourself, are you really practicing self-love? And I know this is because it's so funny because I see these posts about self-love, self-care. Yeah, you may be sick of it, but I want to ask and challenge you, are you really doing it? Because if you are finding that you are in a situation where you're being manipulated and maybe you just weren't aware yet. So I hope and pray that this has been encouraging for you to be able to further recognize if you are in this particular situation. But if that's the case, and even if you're not, even if you might be in a healthy relationship, I still want to encourage you. The nugget is to ask yourself, are you really practicing self-love? Because far too often I see people, and I pay attention to people's languaging. When they're telling me something, I listen to how they're speaking about themselves. How are they using languaging? Words are so powerful. And I want you to take take a moment to just really ask yourself, are you practicing that? And if you say you are, how does that look like? How does that show up in your life? Because when you get solid on that, it's so much easier for you to recognize when that boundary is being crossed. And you really cannot show up as your best and show up fully if you are not practicing those things. So that's my nugget. How about you, Summer?
Oh, what a good nugget. What a good nugget.
Thank you.
Well, I would say, again, listen to your intuition. Listen to that inner voice. A lot of times we like to drown it out, especially when we're in that crush phase, right? Where we're just like in la la land and we're just like, oh my God, this feels so good. Maybe it feels good, right? Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But maybe it feels really good because that's the bar you set for yourself. And who knows? But here's the thing. We can get lost in that. We can ask that. We can get lost in that. We can feel like, oh my gosh, that person's meeting my needs because I've never felt like this before. But here's the thing. If you're feeling something isn't quite right, if you're questioning something about that person or the relationship, even if that relationship is going too fast, listen to that inner voice. Listen to your intuition. Pay attention, because when we drown it out, we're doing ourselves a disservice which may really hurt us in the long run. It can hurt us emotionally, physically, or both. So pay attention to that intuition and that inner voice. That's my nugget for the day.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that and for ending it with that wonderful nugget.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for joining us here on the Life, Love, and Money Show with Summer and Jen. Again, please, if you get the opportunity, go and subscribe to our Life, Love, and Money page with Summer and Jen on YouTube. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll be here next Thursday. Please DM us your questions. And what time will we be here? We will be on Twitter. We will be on Facebook. We will be on YouTube at 11:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is also 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Ciao for now, everybody. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, Summer. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching the Life, Love, and Money Show with Summer and Jen. Dr. Summer Watson is the owner of the production and coaching company Core Women, LLC, is a doctor of psychology, has a depth of experience working in both for-profit and nonprofit in human services and mental health, is a professional coach, seminar host, documentary film producer, and an author. Jen Fontanilla is a former financial advisor and now a certified money coach, speaker, and has published 6 books. She has worked with organizations such as the Walt Disney Company, Warner Brothers, Target, Goodwill, and the U.S. Air Force. She loves working with women and helps them master their money and mindset to empower them to build the ultimate life without worrying about money. Join Summer and Jen every week as they go live on the Life, Love, and Money Show on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn.